mirror our policy, the U.S. government policy. Clearly, Ukraine's been overthrown by the West. Clearly, they're trying to stir stuff up with Russia. And again, I'm not lionizing Vladimir Putin. I'm simply saying anybody can look at this and see that NATO is moving troops in, doing drills, openly moving missiles up to the border. This is not Iraq that we can just kick around for 20 years. This is Russia with nuclear weapons. Haven't they learned the lesson of Hitler and Napoleon?
Well, they love war. And they think, you know, there are only two really large independent countries in the world anymore. There's Russia and there's China. So both are being targeted by the U.S., which sees itself as the global hegemon. The U.S. believes it should run the world. I'm sure they believe they should run the solar system and the galaxy too. But right now they want to run the world. They want to get rid of or certainly take out Russia and China as opponents of U.S. hegemony. And yeah, the U.S. Despite the agreement that we made with Gorbachev, that when he agreed to pull his troops out of Germany and out of Eastern Europe, the U.S. agreement was we will not push the boundaries of NATO up to Russia. We won't make those kinds of aggressive moves. So needless to say, the U.S., like every other treaty, they don't keep their word, and it's horrific what's going on. It's very scary, as you point out, potential of atomic war. Professor Bob Higgs always points out the state is the one entity actually capable of bringing to an end life on Earth. Don't worry about asteroids. It's the government that can actually bring this about. For example, with its vast stockpiles of chemical warfare, of biological warfare, of atomic weapons.
Yeah, I got a feeling they may actually destroy the Earth. They are so.
Well, they have the capability, and they're certainly morally not above it. So, yeah, it's very scary business, and we have to be opposed to U.S. aggression in Ukraine. And I'm sure Putin's a politician. He's not a good guy, but he happens to be in the right here in the sense that we are aggressing against Russia. Shouldn't be happening. It's very, very dangerous. Of course, China has got atomic weapons as well. These are both here are countries that came out of communism and still bad things about them, still bad things, needless to say, about the U.S. too. But they came out of communism. People are much freer and more prosperous in those countries than they were under Khrushchev and Mao Zedong and dictators of that sort. So why aren't we welcoming them into the family of nations? Why are we wanting to trade with them? Why are we putting anti-free trade sanctions on them, which are acts of war? Why are we egging on Japan to attack China? There's all kinds of very terrible stuff that can have just horrific effects on the life, the lives of our children and our grandchildren if there's a lot of radiation in the atmosphere as the result of all the atomic weapons that exist in the hands of governments all over the world. So, peace is a virtue. Peace is necessary to civilization. War is the enemy of civilization. It's the enemy of freedom. It's the enemy of free enterprise. It's the enemy of everything good. So when you hear people in Washington saying, "Let's have a war," I say to them, "Hey, I'll gladly pay for you to take a rifle and go over there, buddy. But don't try to get American kids to go. Don't try to involve our people. Mind your own business if you're a politician. Don't try to make mischief." Of course, advice that's not going to be taken, but that ought to be our attitude.
Well, I was reading about the last of the Plantagenet kings who got killed in battle, and he certainly was corrupt and had his problems, but at least until about 500 years ago, a king had to actually be out front in the battle, and they were routinely killed. And so it was men against men with swords, certainly ugly, horrible, brutal. I don't romanticize it, but I can understand now it's robots, now it's drones. It's so disconnected, and the elites are so disconnected from what they're doing that I think we're in more danger now than we ever have been. And even Secretary of Defense Hagel said the, quote, world's blowing up right now, and it's because
he's helping blow it up, of course.
I agree, exactly. Yeah, exactly. In closing,
but they're putting Terminator into effect, the Terminator movies into effect.
Skynet.
They're with all these drones and other kinds of military robots that will be able to kill on their own say-so. They won't even have to have a human tell them to kill.
Day one, they're making them autonomous.
To kill. And they'll be used against us as well. So this is a very serious situation, something we all have to worry about. We have to try to educate ourselves, We have to oppose what the government is doing. We have to resist, peacefully resist, because, of course, they've got all the weapons. We don't have the weapons.
I agree. We're almost out of time. I want to plug Against the State, your new book, available at LouRockwell.com and bookstores everywhere, Amazon. Come back in the next few months, and you can send some talking points. We've never done that. But if you sent me a blueprint of, say, 10 points about the book, we could do a whole hour specifically on your manifesto, Against the State. Lou Rockwell.
Thank you. It'd be great to be back on the show, Alex. It's an honor to be on here today, and keep doing what you're doing. Thank
you. It's great to hear you just absolutely indict and I think successfully convict those that worship at the altar of the state. And I just want to say a prayer for humanity that we don't let the state destroy us, because you're right. It's the ultimate threat. It killed the most people in the 20th century, 261 million people, according to University of Hawaii. Lou Rockwell, thank you so much.
Thank you, Alex.
All right, LouRockwell.com, Against the State. 2 segments coming up, the end of the show, and then some overdrive to go to Peter, Lance, and others that are holding. I'll go right to you, straight ahead. But yeah, pray to God the state doesn't kill us all. We'll be back. Of the Saudis, he was bringing up British government arming the Saudis back after World War I. Just, what was your point, though? Go ahead and finish your point, Peter.
Alex, you can hear me, right?
Yeah, I sure can.
Okay. Basically, the correspondence has been published. It doesn't indicate that it was special. You know, the arming was mostly for fighting the Turks, who are not easy, you know, opponents. But I think that it is possible there were some converts and some crooks. And I mentioned one convert who was the father of Kim Philby, the great turncoat to the Soviet Union.
Sure, they call them Arabists. There's a lot of people in the State Department and stuff that end up converting to Islam. Is that what you're getting into?
Yeah, his father was a convert to Wahhabism, just as his son was a convert to Marxism-Leninism. And I think there were some more. Kipling was afraid of that. You could tell in one of his novels, The Light That Failed, about an artist that. Anyway, you can see the movie in the movie.
Sure. That's the issue, is there's been a lot of Saudi Arabian infiltration of government. I hear you. I appreciate your call. It's definitely gone on. The Ambassador Stevens that got killed in Benghazi was an Arabist. It's really complex stuff. The point is the West isn't just recruiting people. It's happening the other way back. Lance in Washington, you're on the air. Go ahead.
Alex, it's an honor to speak to you today. You know, people hear just normal, everyday people that aren't awake, they hear military complex and they think U.S. military. And it's not just the U.S. military, it's all the militaries. It's all connected to the globalists. They're the ones that perpetuate all the wars, all the antagonism. It's amazing to me that we still train people on different continents to kill other people legally on different continents on this planet.
Yeah, for those that don't know, the military-industrial complex, which is multinational, sets the policy and then goes out and trains our enemies so there can be another war. That's their full-spectrum dominance, and that's what's immoral. Does it mean that our troops going up against al-Qaeda aren't fighting scum who you know, I don't cry about getting killed? No, our troops, in many cases, you know, are really hardworking, smart people that care passionately. But up above it, in the complex, the globalists are running both sides. That is the great evil. That's why Lou Rockwell would say, shut it down, stop offensive war. And I agree with him. But at the same time, I could see where Rand Paul's coming from, saying, look, this is out of control. Al-Qaeda's running around. Why did we arm them? Let's take them out. Because Al-Qaeda itself is a real entity, and our government helped create it. So the people in our government that did that should be held accountable. I say take out al-Qaeda, but also arrest the people like Hillary Clinton in the State Department and the folks involved in Benghazi. Stop it. Stop super Machiavellian garbage like this that'll bring everybody down. We as a species aren't going to make it if we have an elite that wants to deindustrialize the Arab world and keep them in squalor by putting the Wahhabists in charge. You agree with that, sir?
Yes, I do. I definitely agree with that. I agree with you. We should be starblazing the stars. We should be trailblazing the stars right now. And you know, this earth is a living being. And when it's ready to shut us like the life that we are, it will. There's no telling, Alex, how many civilizations have actually been on this planet and lived here.
It's incredible. All right, God bless you, brother. We're going to go into overdrive now. We're going to go to Tom, Anthony, and Brett. We're going to go to all three of you, at least get those in. Thank you, Lance. Infowars.com/show to find the free video feed. Your station doesn't carry this fourth hour. God bless you all. Great job, crew. In the near future. When you realize how fake it all is, the football, the basketball.
Alert. Security alert. This is Homeland Security. Analysis. InfoWars building independent media operation.
We let the worst people get control and tell us that we are the ones responsible.
Prime directive. Discredit Alex Jones.
Jones is the wildly popular conspiracy theorist.
A popular conspiracy theory talk show called InfoWars.
Alex Jones is now in an Austin jail.
These people are assaulting us.
Targeting of patriots engaged.
They are never going to stop. They're never going to deviate from their program until we stop them.
Block free iPhone app at Infowars.com. Block free podcast and video feed. Imperative. Destroy Prison Planet TV.
You gotta set your eye on the enemy, not worry about what propaganda they put out. Intellectually, it's begun. You can feel it.